Hey everybody, it's AJ on Crypto for Grow My Bag TV. I hope you're having a good one. So there is a lot going on. A lot. Let's start with the US government. Apparently the US government on the Senate side has reached a bipartisan deal to avoid shutting down the government. The deal would fund the government through mid-November, approximately, and would continue aid to Ukraine in the tune of billions, I believe. I think that's a good thing. The deal could actually still hit hurdles as it goes back to the House because the House is a mess. There's no other pretty way to say it. That's the prettiest I can say it. Now, something else that's going on is the SEC has delayed a decision on the ARC 21 share spot Bitcoin ETF as well as the Global X Bitcoin Spot ETF. At least they're consistent. But the special thing about this one or these is the fact that the delay was done preemptively. They were not due to give a decision just yet, right? But now the decision is to kick it down the road until January. That said, Gary Gensler is supposed to be at a hearing in front of the House Finance Committee starting today. Well, today. He's been getting grilled even outside the hearing, and he's getting pressured to approve, those spot ETFs. Now, I want you to think about this. Why was he preemptive in the approach? My idea is that he wanted to make the decision previous to the hearing because he knew the pressure was coming, right? So because the pressure is coming, he's like, oh, let me make this decision now because then I won't be forced to roll it back. I have a little bit of breathing room and I have at least until January to kind of figure out what I'm going to do. I think that's his play. And that's kind of a big deal. So I'm paying attention to that. Now, something else that I'm paying attention to is Chase Bank in the UK. This is crazy. Chase Bank in the UK sent an email out, allegedly has sent out an email to their customers saying, hey, look, listen, we're gonna stop cryptocurrency transactions. That's huge. The reason why I'm interested is because it's one of the first moves in the country for something like that. Big bank, no, we're not going to do that. What they did was they said, well, if you want to do these things, here are some, other banking services that might be able to do those things for you. And that's why I'm paying attention, right? I want to see how many people are comfortable with giving up, crypto features for these new banking services. And then I'm also going to be interested in how many of those people and entities decide we're going to move at least some of our money someplace else so we can regain those services. Those are big facts. Those are big things that I want to pay attention to. Something else that I'm paying attention to is we all know about the mess that we call BlockFi. BlockFi is a bankrupt crypto lender, and they have finally had their amended bankruptcy plan approved by the court. More importantly, their liquidation plan has been approved by the court as well as signed off by their chief restructuring officer. That's huge. Now, there are a group of debtors, FTX debtors, for example, that had issues originally with the original bankruptcy plan. Sorry about that. But what I found is that at least some of those issues were quelled. All of them doubtful, but at least some of them were quelled. So I'm looking to see how that actually goes through and if it happens. So it'll be nice because liquidation plan means that they are looking to repay customers. That's a good thing. Something that I'm paying attention to is I keep going back to this Gary Gensler thing. There are a lot of lawmakers on both sides of the aisle, Republicans and Democrats, that are really putting pressure on him to stand up and approve those spot ETFs. And I'm just like, he's not going to do it now. He's not. But that move, that preemptive move, slick. But man, as I look at this chess game, he's running out of moves. He's literally running out of moves. I think with all the new filings and the amended filings that are out there, I think he's going to be hard pressed to say no. So he's stretching it out as much as he can. Now, let's run with the idea that when January comes, I don't know if it's the 240-day mark for those filings. I doubt it, but let's run with the idea that it is, right? I mean, I could probably look that up in my notes. 21 shares. While I do that, I'm wondering if in that time period, let's see, now let's share. I'm going to have to go look through my notes to see if there's anyone there. I mean, anything there that denotes, that'll tell me like when the filings happen, right? Because if we can identify when those filings happened, then we can put a time frame on it and know that the 240-day mark would happen. But let's say in January he has to make a decision. What's going to be his reason to say no? What's his reason to say no? Right? That's really what the problem is. If Bitcoin is not a security, what is your reason to say no? So I'm just sitting there, I'm just trying to figure out, like, how would you say no? What would be the reasons behind it? Any of that stuff. So I can't get there from here. Now, he could probably pull a rabbit out of a hat and say, well, it's no because of whatever. But anything frivolous is going to land him in a lot of trouble. Just a lot of trouble. So I don't think that's what's going to happen. But I am paying attention to that in a major fashion, and I will be paying attention today for today's hearings. I want to see what comes out of that. So I'll have the big TV on for that. I have a big TV over there. I have a little one over there. I usually use the big one over there, when I'm doing development and code and all that stuff, and I use the little one to have financial channels on. But I think it's going to be a really big deal to actually see what happens in January or even just during these meetings. So pay attention to that. Something that I wanted to call out during my research this morning, it's crazy early, that's why it's blackout. I kept seeing a company, FCF Pay. No, I am not affiliated with them. No, they don't pay me. No, nothing, nil, nada, zip. That said, I've been seeing a lot of news about how this company is doing this and doing that. Looks to me that it's the same writer, the same author of the article dropping these little tidbits on different sites, right? And I looked at it, and when I saw the first article, I was like, "Oh, that's interesting. Let me tag that and go see if I can find something." They're using other company names like, Texas Solar Panel Company, a big bank in the UK, and I'm like, yeah, that doesn't sound right. It's a very slick move. They provide certain services, and they're saying that because they're providing certain services in a roundabout way, these companies are allowing certain things to happen. It's misleading to me. Might not be misleading to other people, but to me, it feels misleading. I would tell you that when you do your research, be careful of what you read. Read everything. Don't just skim. Okay? I make mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. But this was huge. I saw something in one news source, then I saw it in another news source, and I saw it in another news source. And I remember, each one of those articles just looked the same, sounded the same. A couple of names changed, but they all pointed to the same tweet on that platform called X. And I just sat there and I was like, I'm not going to report on it. I'm just not going to report on it. So be wary of where you're getting your news. Always look for corroborating, evidence. All right. You know what we should do? That's right. We should get into the numbers. So let's get there real quick. All right, so the fear and greed index is at 44. Like I said, we've been bouncing around the 40s for a little while now. DeFi Llama, oh, we're up at 49 billion. 49.37 billion. Yesterday we were in the 48s. Previous to that, I think we were in the 47s, and now we're at 49. I'd love to see us get to and maintain a number above 50. That's where I'd really like to be. I remember when it was over 200, but I'm happy if we can get to that level, right? We're still moving sideways. Bitcoin is still below my green band. The green band being, between 26,475 and 31,580. Right now, Bitcoin is at 26,265. All right. We're still moving sideways. Still moving sideways. Pay attention. To me, I think this is an opportunity. Right? To me, I think it's an opportunity to get in. It's an opportunity to hold on for a little bit. But most of all, I just want you to be in a position where you can understand what's going on, even if you're not ready to get in, but start building that knowledge base. All right. Next one up. Let's take a look at the big picture. Big picture. Yeah, we're up a little bit. Things are green, but they're not where I want them to be. ETH still below 1600, but closer to it at 1594. XRP is down below 50 cents. I don't like it there. I like it above 51, 52 cents. Because to me, when we get to those numbers, we're a little bit more of a striking distance to higher highs. Matic being below 55 cents is not where I want to be. They're at 50 cents right now, almost 51. But to me, again, this is still a buying opportunity. I think we'll be in a buying opportunity for a time to come, but we need to start seeing those incremental rises. Again, this is one of the reasons why I'm paying attention to Gary Gensler's committee meeting or hearing today, because he could be saying a lot. So there you go. If you want to look at the numbers, just looking at straight numbers, you can see, what's in the green, what's in the red. Nothing is in the green by a big way, or nothing's in the green in the top 30. Right? I mean, in a big fashion. Again, my rule is I don't really pay attention to anything unless it moves greater than 5%, right? Because, we can sway, at that level. So I'm paying attention to what's in that range. Looking at all the coins that I've told you I've been interested in, I'm still interested in the same coins. So there's that. Anyway, this is Eddie Joe on Crypto for Grow My Bag TV. I really hope you like what I'm doing. Again, if you do, please drop me a note. It makes me feel good. And if you don't, drop me a note and tell me how I can improve things for you. Somebody did ask me about True USD. And I'll get to that real quick. It is a stable coin. It hasn't been moving all that much. Here's my problem with the 50 bazillion stable coins that are out there. True USD has been, he said, well, the volume on Binance has been big. That's right. The volume for that coin is big on Binance, but that's diminishing because Binance is dropping it. They've already made that announcement. So is WazirX. So there are reasons why, the lifespan, or to me, the usefulness of that coin is changing, right? Binance wants to solidify around its stable coins. Makes sense. So you'd have to find someplace else to actually be able to use it. And why would I use True USD if I have access to Circle or even Tether, or BUSD, right? BUSD is big. Let's not even play a game. Plus, Binance has that deal. I told you about it yesterday. Binance has that deal with MUFG Japan to do a couple of stable coins, or 3 of them at least, Euro, dollar, and Japanese yen. So there's that. There's probably a bit more research that you could do. I'm not really interested in the coin myself, in that particular stable coin. So that's pretty much where I'm at. Anyway, I hope you have a good one. Bye-bye.